Yo, what's up, Teacup? Good to see you. Ooh, and we got Zara. What's going on, guys? Let me see, we're live. What's up, Ethan? Good to see you, bro.
Hello.
What's up, Teacup?
I'm over here on a golf course.
You're on a golf course? What are you doing on a golf course?
That's dope.
Golfing.
Well, I love golf, actually.
Why do you think I said I didn't have much time? I'm at a golf course.
Dude, that's dedication, dude. Teacup is here trying to learn some calculus while he's also playing golf. That's pretty cool.
I sent a question. I do not understand. I need to get on the Twitch stream real quick so I can get most points. Okay. I don't know how to turn this to speaker, so.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's do yours real quick because I know you're out golfing. That's cool. All right. This is a calculus question, but this is what's called integrals, which are pretty cool. It's kind of a rule for integrals. Anyways, there's a lot of particular stuff in this. There's a lot of like little nitpicky stuff that technically you need to know about integrals, but let me like teach you like the simplest way to do it. You can't hear anything. Okay. Very loud music. What do you mean very loud music? Oh, is very loud music at a golf course? Why is there very loud music at a golf course? And I'm deaf, he says. Well, can't you watch on Discord? I'm streaming on Discord. I got these new almonds. They're called like California Reaper almonds. They're like super spicy. What's up, Zara? How's your day going? I see you sent me a chat. Let me see. Is there a way to make up for the days I missed? What do you mean, make up for the days you missed? What do you mean by make up for the days you missed? I don't know how to speaker my iPhone volume. Okay. Well, I'll explain it, and maybe you can try to follow along. But yeah, okay. Whole way to break this up is anytime you have, for instance, what we call like the integral. This is what this means. This means integral. Integral means like the area underneath a curve is what it is. This you could graph like 2 minus 5x squared. You could graph this as such. So Teacup, this whole thing, you could write a graph of this, which would look something like this, okay? And what the integral does, what this whole thing here, is that calculates the area underneath this curve, is what it does. And usually this goes from a point A to a point B. So usually we'll have like some point A here and some point B. And this integral right here will calculate all of this. It'll calculate how much space is underneath the curve. Anyways, so the way to do this, what we say like math numerically, which means to get like numbers and whatnot, is to use similar to a derivative, but it's called a power rule for integrals. The first thing we got to do is we got to break this up into two integrals. So if you ever have the integral of a plus b, and then it's like dx or whatever, you can rewrite this as separate integrals. Integral of a dx plus integral of b dx, okay? So I can separate this into two integrals, which is going to be the integral of 2 dx minus the integral of 5x squared dx, okay? This minus, like, technically we could say plus negative, right? But you can always just pull negatives out and just make that a minus. Okay. The next step here is to do what's called the power rule, which is when you have a simple, like, x to the a dx, this is always going to equal x to the a plus 1 all over a plus 1, and then plus like some value c. This is what's called like a constant. Okay. So what you do is you take the power, you raise it by 1, and then you divide by the new power, which has been raised. Okay. So that's how that works. So if we look here at 2dx, and we try to think like what power is x being raised to, like you're like, wait, where is the x? I don't see any x here, right? There actually is an x there, but what's happening is this is the x being raised to the power of 0. Okay. So remember that anything to the 0 is equal to 1, right? If I even had like 69,420 all to the 0 power, that's also equal to 1. Yes, good. All right, good teacup, yeah. So,
sorry.
What's up? What's up, Zar? I hear you, dude.
Sorry. My phone had an issue.
You're good. You're good. You're good, dude. Anyways, so if I want to raise this to a new power, right, I got to raise it up by 1. So that's going to be from 0 up to 1. So that's going to be end up being 2 to the 1 power divided by the new power here, which is 1. And then we're going to leave it as so. We'll do the plus c at the end. So then I'll go to this one, okay? So the integral of this one, right, again, raise this one by a power. So that's going to be raise it to 3 and then divide by the new power. So that's going to be 5x to the 3 over 5, okay? There's still a minus here. Now, at the very end, what you're going to do for, like, formality to make it, or sorry, this is 5x to the 3 divided by 5, not divided by, sorry, divided by 3, not divided by 5. Is you need to technically put a plus c here. I can explain that later. It has to do with it being an indefinite integral, but for the sake of you just learning how to do this, this would be your final answer. So it would just be 2x, right? Because anything divided by 1, you can just write as the number. Minus, and then instead of 5x to the 3 over 3, I like to write like 5/3 x to the 3rd plus c. And then that is your final answer. Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Good job, guys. All right, nice. Let me give a point there for teacup. Did that make sense, teacup? It's kind of a cool way that things work. Kind of, yeah, I know. Well, it's a pretty complicated thing to teach in such a short amount of time, but it's pretty cool. Or I say, it's pretty simple to learn how to do it, just doing it that way. Wow, we got 10 viewers in the chat. What's up, 10 viewers? So feel free to exploring, but what does the D mean? Okay. What do you mean the D? Oh! No, you're good, dude. Very good question. So, when we have an integral of like, you know, blah, 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 and you say like D whatever, right? This variable tells you what you're integrating with respect to, okay? And let me explain like what that means, okay? So, again, let's go with the simple example. Let's say that it kind of means derivative. D means like delta. It means like the change in, right? So, what's up, Obama? Good to see you, bro.
Yes.
You enjoying that Oculus, dude? They're raising the price on it $100. Did you see that?
What, the Oculus?
Yeah. Nice.
Dude, I'm so
Awesome.
lazy to find a new game. I've been playing the same crap like over and over. I'm just killing people and like, I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well,
I
there
like
are other
it,
games.
though. I like annoying some kids. Like, there's some kids that's like, they're like, get out of the spawn, right? And once they get out, they just start crying because I killed them.
Are you talking about Rec Room? You playing Rec Room?
No. It's Guns Raider, I think. That's the name.
Yeah, here. Yeah, no. So if you guys actually want to, I'll come back to the calculus real quick. But if you want to know why the Oculus is about to get $100, yeah, they're hiking the price on it $100. The reason being is that when Facebook first put out the Oculus, they sold it very, very cheap because they wanted everyone to get one. Like, They sold it at a loss, actually, because they wanted to be the de facto company that created like the metaverse, like created virtual reality, that like everyone would start using like Facebook for like virtual reality. It's a gamble. It's a risky play. If you look at like how much money Facebook lost Oculus, they lose so much money selling this thing. Right. They've lost like 3 billion here. Yeah, in only a few months. Since 2020, apparently they've lost $20 billion. Like they've just burned $20 billion by making the headsets much cheaper than it costs them more money to make the headset than they sell it for. And actually consoles do this too. You ever notice how like a PS5 is like $500, right? But a gaming computer equivalent is like 1,000, like 1,500, right?
Yeah.
The reason for that is PlayStation actually doesn't make that much money on selling the console, okay? What PlayStation makes money on is you buying the games that you play on the console. It's actually a very interesting like business model that Facebook was, I think, kind of gambling on as well. That, for instance, they would sell these headsets at a huge loss, so just so that you would at least have a headset, and then Facebook would make the money back because you would buy games for the Oculus from Facebook. The issue is that, like, not many people are buying games for their Oculus. Like, as you said, like, you haven't bought any games, right? You're just playing the free ones.
Yeah, it's too expensive, bro. No, I ain't gonna buy $30. Like,
no, some of them are like $10, $20. Some of them, they're not that expensive.
I do it if it could last the whole day, like my Xbox. But if it doesn't, then there's no point.
Well,
like,
they got
I'll
a
play
battery
for, like,
pack
2
and
hours
stuff.
and it'll die. So I'm like, there's no point in like buying games.
Yeah.
But PlayStation's actually, or PS5s aren't actually that good. People have had them like shut off in the middle of the games, and
yeah, there's always like gonna be some issues with stuff.
Oh shit.
Yeah. But
PlayStation
anyways, that's why all the consoles are cheap. Is because they make their money back on you buying Halo or buying Metal Gear Solid or like whatever. Like, you buy the games, they make their money back.
Actually, PlayStations are actually just cheap in general.
Yeah, they are cheap.
Shut themselves down in the middle of gaming, and then they end up damaging themselves by how they turned off.
Oh, really? That's some
people
weird
have
stuff.
actually reported it. It turns off in the middle
Dude,
of the
I remember the first
kinda
Xboxes used to have the red ring of death, and the only way to fix it is you'd have to put your Xbox in the oven. Does anyone remember this?
The oven? What the hell?
Yeah, dude. Xbox red ring of death fix. It's the funniest shit, dude.
Please tell me. No way, this is like more than like.
Yeah,
10 years
dude.
old.
Everyone used to get this red ring of death on their Xbox, which was because it's very interesting. The reason why this thing would happen is because the soldering joints inside the processors. Okay, soldering is like the silver stuff that connects all the different like wires and whatnot, and like the CPU to the graphics card and whatnot. Anyways, those soldering joints would come loose. Okay, and the way to fix it was to melt it again. And the only way to do that was to basically put your Xbox in the oven. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, yeah, you could put it in an oven, or the other way was to, like, wrap it in a towel so that it would overheat. And that would cause the solder to remelt and then stick again. And so that was the whole fix. It was some of the funniest shit, dude, because, like, I'm like, what? You got to go put your... Yeah, the reflow process. Put your Xbox 360 on a cookie sheet, let the oven come up to 302 degrees, turn the temperature up to... Dude, this was the funniest shit, dude. People literally put their look at this. They put it in the oven, dude. They literally would put their Xbox in the oven, or they take a heat gun to it, or something like this. Yeah, they would. Yeah.
What if it exploded and if you got hurt? Could you technically sue?
No, because I mean, technically, you did a dumb thing by putting your Xbox in the oven. Microsoft did not. Microsoft did not actually tell people to do this, but people figured this out as a fix. Is what they did. Honey, what temperature does an Xbox cook at? Yeah, right. That would be funny, dude. Anyways, that's a little tidbit of knowledge of why stuff does that and whatnot. Anyways, back to calculus. Real quick, let me. Yeah, teacup left, but Dr. Destiny, you're Destiny Cove, right? 42 in the Discord. I think you are, right? Let's say we have a function, like real simple function. Let's just say like f of x is equal to let's say it's equal to X. He says that's right. Nice. Okay, here let's just say it's equal to x, x plus 4. Okay, so right, we know how to graph the function x plus 4, right? We go up 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That's what this y-intercept means. And then this would have a slope of just 1, right? Because there's just a 1 in front of the x. Remember, y equals equal to like mx plus b. So that ends up looking like a line that looks just something like this, okay? Now, let's say we want to integrate that function, okay? And remember that like integrating is finding the area underneath a curve or a function or a line. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. So let's say I wanted to integrate, and this is how you would write it. Integral of f of x, and then I'm going to put the dx. I'll explain why the dx is there. And let's say we're going from 0 to 3, okay? What this, or let's say 0 to 5, okay? What this is telling me is that I want to find the area underneath this line here, right? Because this is f of x, okay? And I want to do so for x values between 0 and 5. That's what the dx tells you, Destiny. The dx tells you like what direction you want to find the area. So in the case of going from 0 to 5, right? That means I'm going to go from here to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? Here. Yes, Zara, we can do your question next. And I want to find this. That's what this whole thing is. That's what this is. It's finding the area underneath this curve between the x values of 0 and 5, and the dx tells me that, right, I want to integrate this way. Like what an integral does is you just start like taking little slices of this, going in this direction, and you just start adding them all up. You can think about like stacking a bunch of pieces of paper and whatnot. Nice shifter. So that's what the dx means, and it's actually kind of cool. If you wanted to see what this was, you know, in terms of geometry, right? What type of shape is this? Anyone know what this type of shape is? So this is a cool shape. What is this? What type of shape is that? It's a pretty common one. I'm gonna play the music. I like the music. Parallelogram. Yes, it is a parallelogram. And so what we actually know, right? Well, parallelogram. It's actually it is actually a trapezoid technically, because this is a right angle and this is not, right? Yeah. So, anyways, yes. It's a trapezoid. You're not dumb. I mean, I honestly, I looked at it. I'm like, oh, it's a parallelogram. No, because this side is not parallel to this. Right. Let's remember what like the area, right, of a trapezoid is, right? That's equal to 1/2, right, b1 plus b2 times the height, right? So, in this shape here, right, the height, right, of this trapezoid, that's equal to 5, right? Base 1 is this height, right, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we say 1/2, 4, and then base 2 is this height, right, which I can figure out how high this is by looking at the equation, right? Because going from here to here, right, is where the y value of this function is at x equals 5. So this would be, right, remember this is y is equal to x plus 4. So in this case, this is 5 plus 4, which is equal to 9, okay? So that's what this length is. So this is 9. And this is 4, okay? And so you end up getting this, which is 1/2, 4 plus 9, so that's 6.5. 6.5 times 5, which is equal to 32.5, right? I think that's right, yeah. 2.5 times 13, 26. Yes. Yeah, okay, so that's one way to figure out the area, right? Would be to like look at this as a shape and then figure out. I'm going to show you can also do this in terms of just doing the integral, okay? The way to do that, right, is to write out what this was, right? So this is the integral from 0 to 5 of what the function was, right, f of x, which in this case was x plus 4. And then this is dx, okay? This is also the important thing about the d whatever. Dx tells us which variable we're integrating, like which variable we're doing the product rule on. And since this is an x, that means we're going to do everything in terms of x's, okay? So, again, from before, I can break this up into two integrals. So let's do 0 to 5 of just x plus the integral from 0 to 5 of just 4. And remember that 4 is the same thing as 4 times x to the 0, okay? Okay, let's put the dx here. And I always forget, you know, I'm kind of lazy sometimes. I don't put the dx here, but you should. So again, from the rule here, right, this is x to the 1. So technically, we raise the power by 1 and divide by it, okay? So that's going to be x squared over 2. And then what we have to do here, because this is a definite integral, this is another rule that I'll have to teach you guys, but you just end up putting a 0 and a 5 here, like a line, okay? Then for this one, right, if I raise the power by 1, that's x to the 1 divided by 1. So that's going to be 4x to the 1 over 1. Or a better way to write that is just 4x, right? And that's also from 0 to 5, okay? Now, the last step to do this, which is another thing in calculus you may or may not have seen yet, but you will eventually if you get to it, is that whenever I have this and I'm going from what we say are bounds from 0 to 5, what you do is you plug in the top one and then you subtract it from plugging in the bottom one, okay, into x. So in this case, this becomes 5 squared over 2 minus 0 squared over 2, right? That's going to be this one. And then this one is going to be 4 times 5 over 1 minus 4 times 0 over 1, okay? Which, again, this will simplify. 25 over 2 is just going to be, what is that, 12.5? So we have 12.5 plus, right, this is 0, right? And then 4 times 5 is 20. So that's equal to 32.5, which, same answer we got up here, right? So that's how you would evaluate this integral or find the area under this line from this point to this point, using calculus and whatnot. Now, one quick thing that you could have also done. Let me copy this and put this on a new page, because Destiny was wondering like, wait, why do I have like dx? You could have also done it with dy, and I'll show you how you could have. It's a good thing to know because your teachers will ask you about that. Okay, let's say I'm trying to find the area right here, but instead of like going this way and adding a bunch of slices, right, going dx is what we say, we could also technically go from here up and just add slices this way, okay? In that way, that's taking an integral with what we say to is in terms of dy, which just means the direction that you're adding the slices. So the difference here is now what has to happen though is you have to describe this function instead of this function as being y is equal to x plus 4. You have to describe it in terms of y, which is x is equal to y minus 4, okay? All I did is I moved this over, all right? Because now if I write this integral, I'm going to integrate y minus 4 dy, and then the y points I'm going from, right? I'm going from, let's see, I'm going from y equals, let's see how that's going to work. Oh, interesting, actually. Oh, yeah. We got to be a little tricky here. Let me think. This is, if I want to integrate by dy, and I want to do this, I am going to go from, one sec. Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, okay. This is actually a little bit harder to do, because technically what you'd have to do is you have to rotate the whole thing. I'll show you what this looks like. This is going to be way beyond everyone's scope. No one's actually really going to understand this, but for those in the audience that do understand calculus, this is actually kind of cool. If I have something like this, now let's say this is y and this is x, okay? So all we did, right, this was x and this was y, and all I did is I rotated the graph, so it looks something like this, okay? Now, if I'm trying to do the same thing from, again, 0 right here, right, all the way to 5, okay? And I'm trying to find this area. Technically, I have to do this, and we're trying to integrate it in terms of dy. Technically, you have to do 2 integrals. What you have to do is you have to find this area by doing the integral of this one minus this one, and then you have to find the integral of this one by doing this minus this. That's really advanced, and yeah, let me not go into that. That's a lot more confusing. If you actually want to know that and you're in calculus, that's actually a very good question that gets asked a lot of times when we do like revolving shapes and whatnot. But for now, I'll just leave it as that, and so I can get to other people's questions. But anyways, that was cool. Here, let's give you a Bondcoin Destiny code, dude, because that was a good it's a good question. Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Zara, you got a question? If one baby Jack splits into 2 of them every 5 seconds for 30 minutes, how many baby Jacks are there? Oh, this is cool. This is I kind of like this question. This is an exponential question, is what this is. Wait, not that. Let me delete everything on the page here real quick. Delete all pages. Yes. Let's clear my clipboard. Okay. How many Jacks? Okay, cool. All right, Zara, are you here? You here, Zara? This is a question about Jack is from The Incredibles, right? I believe it's an Incredible. Yeah, it is, right? Yeah, one sec. The Incredibles. Yes. Or is it Jack? This guy, right? Where's the one where he has multiple Jack multiple? Yes. Yeah, I remember this one. Yeah. That's kind of cool. Yes, there we go. Yes, Ethan, you can ask your question next. Okay. So, this is an exponential question, okay? So every 5 seconds, one of the Jack splits into another Jack. This is what's called actually exponential growth, okay? And the way to think about this is, okay, let's say at t equals 0, right? There's one Jack, right? And at t equals 5, right? Now technically there's 3, right? We added another 2, okay? Well, oh, actually, no, sorry. One splits into 2. Oh, okay, so there's actually only 2, right? And that t equals 10, we have both of these splitting again, right? So now this is 4, right? This is actually a pattern. You can see how this is like 1, 2, 4, and so on and so forth. So we could write this as an equation, right? Let's say y is equal to the total number of Jacks, okay? And this is going to be equal to the initial amount 1 times what the rate is. So what we usually say is y is equal to a r to the n, okay? This is the rate at which something is doing something, like whether it's doubling, tripling, or like whatever. This is the initial amount, and then this is how many doubling, tripling, or whatever's are happening, okay? So in this case, this is going to be equal to 1. We're going to start out with 1. The rate at which things are happening, right? That's doubling, right? So we're going to say this is equal to 2, right? So because this is doubling all the time. Doubling, right? And n is the number of times that Jack doubles, okay? So we can figure that out, right? So if he doubles every 5 seconds for 30 minutes, right? How many doublings are there? Does anyone know how to figure that out? What do you think it is, R?
60 times 2.
60 times 2?
Sure.
Okay, so let's remember, it's every 5 seconds, okay? So how many times is he going to double in a minute? What?
60 times 30.
60 times 30. Getting closer. He doesn't double 60 times in a minute, though. How many times does he double in a minute if it's every 5 seconds? You want to do 60 divided by 5, right? That's 12 times in a minute. Yes, good, Dr. Destiny. Yeah. Do you see why that is, Zara? Right? Every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
60 seconds divided by 5. That's how many 5-second time periods I have, which in this case is 12. Then you multiply this by 30, right? Yeah. Because that's how many doublings there are in 30 minutes. So that's going to be 360, okay? So this is what you end up getting. Y is equal to 2 to the 360, which is an insanely big number. I don't even know if this is actually calculatable. Let's look at that. Y is equal to 2 to the 360. Let's see if we can even do that. I'm curious. Wolfram Alpha would be the one to do it. So let's say 2 to the 360, right? About to be a big number. Yeah, okay. Do you guys want the full name? This is kind of funny, actually. So, okay. The answer would be this massive number here, right? Which is 2.3 times 10 to the 108, or 2 quintillion 348 quadrillion. Oh my god, dude, it's like so many. I don't even know some of these words exist. Like nove emsedecitillion octodeci. Oh my god, what are these words? Billion. This is like the last ones I remember here. Quintillion, trillion, sextillion. It's a big number. There's a lot of
That's dope.
a lot of jacks. So yeah, that's where that comes from. Anyways, okay, so this is like very big. All right, good job, Zara, dude. That was a good question. Zara, are you gonna play some Warzone with us later?
I can't. I'm in Richmond right now. I'm
You're
an
in
hour away.
Richmond? Are you still at practice?
No. I'm at my aunt and uncle's for the week.
Oh, okay, that's nice. I'm gonna go see my family next week, for a week. So I'll see if I can stream next week. I'm not sure if I can. I'll be in like Lake Tahoe, but maybe. We'll see.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Nice. All right, Ethan, you got a question. I remember you asked one. Let's see what Ethan's question is. Yes, it is such a big number. It's huge. It's like insanely big. Where is it? This is it. Okay. Okay. So let me write this out so this looks a little better. So we have negative n times negative 5n plus 2n squared. Okay, this is a good one. Yes, Ethan, this is your question, dude. All right, this has to do with a couple things. This has to do with the distributive property, but it also has to do with the rules of exponents, okay? Which, yes, I saw a lot of you guys completed. So we have the most recent challenge in summer camp right now, which is the exponents. Let me see if I can access it real quick. Yeah, here it is. So, right, yeah, if you go here to Kudu, in the latest section, we have exponents. So here again are a lot of, like, cool chapters I wrote on, like, exponent rules, you know. You know, a lot of times, even like if you're in high school and whatnot, and you've learned this, like you will forget this. People always forget this. They're like, wait a minute, what happens when I multiply exponents? Do I add them? Do I subtract them? Do I multiply them? And so here's a bunch of like cool review stuff you can go through to you know remember and you know refresh your mind. And then what else we have here down at the bottom is we have the questions, and if you answer all the questions correctly, you can get up to 5,000 SCP for getting those all right. I think I'll make the due date for these like next Wednesday. So see if you can get on these like pretty soon. If you have questions about these, this is the time to ask. Like this is the whole point of office hours is come here, ask about like what's going wrong and like what you don't understand. And I'm here to help you. Dr. Destiny says I'm playing Minecraft and I just accidentally crafted 22 freaking furnaces. Oh dear. I actually noticed a pattern on that chapter. What was the pattern? What was the pattern that you noticed, Ethan? I'm actually curious. What was the pattern? Were all the answers C or something? It's supposed to be random. That sound was appropriate, yeah. I don't know exactly, like what are the furnaces in Minecraft? Why is it bad to craft that many?
Usually you don't need that many.
Oh. Usually don't need that many. Okay. Ethan, what was the pattern you noticed? I'm curious. It's like a house having 22 ovens. Yeah. I mean, maybe you were baking a lot of cakes. That would make sense. Yeah, maybe you just love baking cakes. Ooh. These are spicy fucking almonds. Jesus Christ. Here, I'll show you what they were. All the answers were the exact same, but a different letter. Okay. What do you mean by a different letter? Yeah, these are the ones I'm eating right now. Oh my god, these things are hot. Look at these. California Reaper. Ah, it's kind of like burning my tongue. All the answers were the exact same, but a different number. What do you mean by they were all a different number? In this case, all the answers were B. That's actually kind of interesting. I wonder why that is. Is that what you mean by Ethan? Do you mean like all the answers were like in this case they're all B, right? B, 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 B. Wonder why that is. But that's... It'll help people out. It's okay. It's all right. Most people who did it got them all right anywhere. Yeah. That's very interesting. Well, thank you, Ethan, for bringing that up. That's what I need. That's what I need you guys to go through to help me like find out where the bugs are. Like that's definitely a bug. All the answers shouldn't be like the same. Anyways. Okay. Anyways. How to do this? Okay, Ethan. So this is what's called like the distributive property, right? So anytime I have, let's say I have for instance like 3 times like, that is such a rare occasion. It is actually. Here, after this, I can actually calculate how rare that is. I'll show you how rare it is. Let's say we have like 3 times 2 plus 5, right? One way to do this, if we used order of operations, right, would be to add this first. To call this like 7, and then do 3 times 7, and you get 21. The other way you can do is you can... He says, I'm leaving all the furnaces in a cave to confuse me when I discovered them 2 years ago. That's too funny, dude. You could also distribute this as 3 times 2 plus 3 times 5, which in that case is 6 plus 15, which is also equal to 21. Okay? So that's how like the distributive property works. And like we're going to use that here, Ethan, to do this one. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this one to this one and this one to this one. Okay? So that's going to end up being negative n times negative 5n plus negative n times 2n squared. Okay? Do you see how this makes sense, Ethan? Do you see how I distributed this one to this one, then this one to this one? Bum, 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 bum. I love the Jeopardy music. It does make sense, he says. Great. Okay, cool. All right. So, now, Ethan, we need to multiply these together, okay? So, let's try to figure out what is negative n times negative 5n? What do you get? What do you get from that? My parents are watching Jeopardy upstairs. That's a brain glitch. You're like, wait, what? Why am I hearing it on Discord and Twitch now? Six Annie says. Okay. Not quite. All good. Okay. let's remember how to multiply things together. Okay. So if I have negative n times negative 5n, okay, this is the same thing as negative n times negative 5 times n. Okay. Now, the cool thing about this is that we can do what's called the commutative property, which I explained earlier, and we can change the order of these, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one over here. So I'm going to say this is negative n times n. Actually, no, let me move this one over here, actually. It'll make it simpler. Let's say this is negative 5 times, and then this one, I'm going to put these two together. So this is n times negative n. Or let's make it even simpler, right? Because negative n is the same thing as negative 1 times n times negative 5 times n. Let me put this one over here. So now I have negative 1 times negative 5 times n times n. Okay? Does this make sense, Ethan, how I did this? And anyone else watching, this is a very important thing. People always get confused with this, right? If this was minus n minus 5n, then yes, this one would be negative 6n, right? Negative 1n minus 5n is negative 6n. But these are multiplying by each other. People always get this wrong. You're talking too much. I can't keep up. All right, that's okay. All right. Let's see first. I went from here to here. Does that make sense, Ethan? Okay. All right. And then all I did is I split this negative n into negative 1 times n. Okay. And then the last thing I did, or the latest thing I did, is that I moved this one all the way over here. So I put this times n, all next to each other. The reason for that is this is the commutative property. Anytime I have like numbers like 5 times 3 times 4 times 1, and they're all being multiplied by each other, you can change the order of them. So I could make this 5 times 4 times 3 times 1. Like, you can change the order of things if they're all multiplying. And the same way you can do it with addition, right? If I have 3 plus 2 plus 1, I can also make this 3 plus 1 plus 2. Like, the order doesn't matter. 5n squared is just a guess. Yes, it's correct, but I want it to be I don't want it to be a guess. I want you to like know it, right? That's the whole point, you know. You want to know how this works. What happens here, Ethan, is after I move the n over here, right? What I'm left with is negative 1 times negative 5 times n times n. N times n, I can also write as n squared, okay? Negative 1 times negative 5, I can also write as just 5, right? Because a negative times a negative is a positive. So now what I'm left with is 5 times n squared. So that's just going to be equal to 5n squared, okay? That's the first part, okay? Now let's try to do this one. Let's try to do this. We got to do these two all by yourself, okay? So let's try to do negative n times 2n squared. What's that one going to be, Ethan? And let me know if we need to break it down. We can break it down into more things. Like, there is a 1 in the negative n. Very good. Yes. Very good. So, yeah. Like, let's make this one, right? This is going to be negative 1 times n. Good. And then we can write this one as times 2 times n squared. Okay? What am I going to do next? What are you eating? Almonds. I showed them earlier. Ate some almonds. Okay. All right, there. Mic's back. Okay. Mic works now? Should work, right? Okay. So yeah, we split this one because we wanted to make this easier to to group things and whatnot. Okay. So just like we did here, Ethan, right? Remember when I split this into a bunch of different things multiplying by each other, and then for instance I grouped these two together, and then I grouped these two together. It was to make it easier to multiply them together. Because you can now see here that -1 times -5 is just 5, and that n times n is just n squared. Let's try to do the same thing here. How could I rearrange these things, Ethan, to kind of make this easier? Yes, yes. Yes, dude, yes. Perfect, perfect. Yes. Exactly, yeah. I can group these, right? So let's group this one and this one. And then let's group this one and this one, okay? So in that case, right, I'm going to have the -1 times the 2 multiplied by the n times the n squared, okay? So this should be a little bit easier, right? Because what can then I then do to multiply -1 times 2? That's going to be what? Good. Yes. Yes, dude. Very good. Yes. This is -2. And then this right here is going to be n to the third. The reason why it's n to the third is because this is really n to the first. And when I multiply two things together that have the same base but different exponents, I add the exponents. So this is n to the 1 plus 2, which is n to the third. Okay, great. Very good, Ethan. So yes. So this final thing becomes minus 2n to the third. And now if we zoom out on like what we were trying to do, right? We were trying to do all this right at the very beginning. We now get our final two answers. So this part turned into this. This part turned into this. And our final answer is 5n squared minus 2n to the third. Yeah, it is. I would say it's an invisible. It's not imaginary, because actually, technically, imaginary numbers are a different thing, Ethan. Imaginary numbers are technically square roots of negative numbers. Like, technically, like the square root of -1, that's equal to I. This is technically what an imaginary number is. But that's a technical math term that you don't know yet, and it's okay. Yeah. Yeah, just a little heads up. Cool, nice. That's a good question, Ethan. And that's very related to what the last two homeworks have been on, or I should say they're not homeworks. The last two math challenges have been for the summer camp kudu stuff. So yes, nice. Let's give you a bond coin for that, Ethan. And then let's give you 500 points. And then I saw you bought some as well, so I'll get you those at the end. Nice. Okay, cool. Anybody else? Let's do that occurrence. What's the occurrence? What's the occurrence, Ethan? This is actually cool because I'm the next section of bonus questions that we're going to go through are going to be square roots and radicals and properties of those. So that'll be a pretty useful thing. I was just writing it today. I spent like 2.5 hours like writing all the square root and radical stuff. Oh, when all the answers would be the exact same? Yeah, that's actually a cool one. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, that's actually very cool. So yeah, let's say, for instance, I think there were 4 answer choices, right? So, like, out of 4 answer choices, and 5 questions, yeah, but, so, I think there was 4 choices for the answers, though, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 choices, but 5 questions. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is kind of a cool thing. This is called probability. All right. So let's say that you randomly choose an answer for the first question. Okay. And there's 4 answer choices, and you're just trying to guess. What's the probability that like the correct one is going to be B? Like, what's the probability that it's just randomly going to be one of those choices? This is actually a cool thing. So probability is equal to the number of ways to be correct, really. It's kind of what I say, over the total 25% chance. Yeah, very good. Total number of options. And let's see why that's a 25% chance, okay? Because remember, there's only one way that the answer can be B, right? It's just B. And there's 4 total choices, right? A, B, C, or D, okay? That's 1 out of 4, a 1 in 4 chance. Or another way to write that, right, is 0.25, which if you multiply that by 100, yes, that's 25%. Yes, very good, Ethan. Yeah, that's an important thing. That's probability, okay? Now, if the first question being B is a 1 in 4 chance, okay? And then I need the next question to also be B. What's the probability that oh, nice teacup. I'm glad you had fun at golf. Let us know your score. How much above par or below par? What Ethan would be the probability of the next question also being just B? Less than 10. Well, so that chance would also be 1 in 4, right? If we just looked at question 2, what's the chance of it being B? But the chance of this happening and then this also happening afterwards, yes, what you end up doing is you multiply the probabilities. So this would end up being 1 out of 16, which is the same thing as 1 out of 4 squared, right? You see how it's 1/4 times 1/4? Right. That's the chance. The way to actually to represent this, let's do like heads and tails, for instance, right? Like let's do like a new example. Let's say like heads and tails, okay? So let's say you flip 2 coins, okay? And I want to know what's chance of getting 2 heads. Okay? So the probability of getting heads, this is what they write, P of H, probability of getting heads. That's 1 in 2, right? When you flip a coin, there's a 1 in 2 chance or a 50% chance that you would get heads. And so what we can do is we can kind of draw this as a tree, right? Or let's say, you know, I could get heads or I could get tails, okay? Now let's flip the coin again, right? So if I got heads on the first one, right, and I flip again, I can either get heads or I can get tails. If I got tails, right, I could either get heads or I could get tails. So this is kind of cool because we can see like what the total different outcomes are. So we have, for instance, heads and heads. We have heads then tails. We have tails then heads. Or then we have tails then tails, okay? So out of this, right, how many total different outcomes are there from flipping 2 coins? Two. Not quite. There's 4, Ethan, right? So I could get heads and heads. I could get heads and tails. I could get tails and heads. Or then I could get, tails and tails. Sorry, it's tails and tails. So there's technically 4. There's 4 total, okay? But there's only one of them, right? Which is my getting heads and heads, okay? So that probability, right, is 1 in 4. Which we can see is also equal to, right? Just doing the probability of getting heads for the first one times the probability of getting heads for the second one, okay? 1/2 times 1/2 is 1/4. So this is an important thing. If you have like the probability of something happening and you need it to happen a couple times in a row, you just multiply by how many times you need it to happen in a row, okay? So in this case, if I need 5 questions to all be B, and the probability of a question having a probability, the probability of a question being just B is 1/4, that's going to be 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4 times 1/4, okay? Or the other way to write that is 1/4 to the 5th, right? Because this is question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a very low amount. If we do the math on this, where is this? This is 1 divided by 4 to the 5th power. That's super small. 9.7 times 10 to the minus 4, okay? Let's multiply that by 100. So let's just get like a percent on there, a little percent chance. That's 0.097% chance. So that is like, that's a very low, it's very rare, right? Less than a 1% chance. It's less than a 0.1% chance. It's like 1 in like 10,000. So yes, Ethan, that's an example of it like being, that's a very low probability, which yes, tells me that something is broken in the code, which is good. That's the whole reason we're going through all this is because I want to figure out what's broken in this. Anyways, cool. All right, cool. That is it for office hours. Thank you everyone who joined and learned some stuff today. And you guys were lucky. You guys were lucky. Anyways, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to recess if you guys want to come play some Warzone with us. Well, here, one second, I got to move this over here. Yes, okay, let me set this up. Let's get that starting on the stream. Say less. Yeah, Ethan, you going to come play? You have Warzone, right? I'm down, dude. Let's run it, dude. You get all the points if no one else does it. Which, it's easy. Let's see. Let's start the stream. Where is it? Warzone Wednesday. Yep. Let's start her off. Okay, cool. All right, and then let me raid this channel so you guys get points for that. Stream manager. Raid. Come on. I know we're streaming. Yeah, let me get the raid though. Yeah, no, you guys get the raid. Yeah, give me a second. Give me a second. Warzone. There we go. All right, now it's raiding. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. Okay, cool. Rating. Turn the Wi-Fi off. Okay, cool. And then I'll stop. Hello and goodbye. All right. All right. Good to